How we doing out there? I'm servant of the Most High. Let me get you in here for just a second. I was listening to, I go on about how if I had the money of what the churches brung in, now this is not all churches. You hear everybody running down and being procrastination or procrastinated against all churches. It's not. There's some talking to you, the good people out there. You know whether you're sitting in that church or not, whether it's a good church or not. If it's cold, it's a bad church. Then you can get on there and put it on YouTube if you want it to change. But not all churches are bad, okay? So don't misconstrue the point I'm trying to say. If I had the money that they had, the thing about it is that, I know how much it costs to drill a water well. I know how much it costs to make a block building to house people from missile attacks. I know all these things because I'm from the trades. I know what it takes to see what they build over there, which is in housing. Some of the housing I've seen is $39.95, and most of the housing's not over $8 or $10 grand. You understand? I was listening to Dr. Keenan Bridges a while ago. He's a good man, except he'll let you stay spun up. I've already investigated the 501c3, the 508c3. Most people don't understand what that even means. Well, it is. They do have a right to write off charitable distributions. The thing about it is that you run that back to the company, which is a non-denominational, or it could be non-denominational. It doesn't make any difference either way. But you run it back to the church, and the church owns the buildings, the houses, the cars, everything. Okay? The pastor takes a severance salary, but it doesn't cost him a dime to live. So most people won't tell you that. Now, all the things it is, because I checked into it. I thought about doing it. And I was doing it for a kind of a different purpose. But, the thing about it is that, money's where you find it. If all the distributions are going out here in the general public for helping the people, then there's not a problem with that. There's not a problem at all with that. The thing about it is that there's a lot of it's not. I know, one pastor, well, I know several. I know more than several. The thing about it is that, you take those distributions and you can spend them any way you want to, as long as it's under the corporate veil, okay? The deal of it is that, I designed 3 different companies, holding company plus trust. And I understand how that goes on. Now, understand that Mr. Keenan, Dr. Keenan, he's a good man. And, he had, me and him corresponded a couple of times together. And the thing what he's trying to tell you is that all the churches in the world are not bad churches. But the thing about it is going out here proposing that all the churches are bad, and he was right. He was correct about what he was saying. He was saying that, these people are coming out here and testifying and going up and giving people flyers and all this stuff. Look, the people themselves, you, the children of God, have to make that decision for yourself. If you don't see any life in your church, then don't stay around. Hi, Summer Dawn. The thing about it is that what you got to really realize is that that's your problem. That's not our problem. The thing that the Father wants to know out there is, look, the good people, it's just like the United States government. The good people of the Father, or even the bad people of the Father. If you don't step in front, if you're not in church, you're not in church. You're going to complain no matter what it takes. The same as the government. But you are the ones that control it. Now, you say you do. Now, you control your churches. You control your communities. But anything outside of that, trying to control the government, you don't know whether you're controlling it or not. Nobody does. It's not that way anymore. They're not worried about you. They got so many laws. They can bind you up. They can make all kinds of stuff come out about you that you're the baddest person in the world. But understand, under the church's clause, Dr. Keenan is right. It doesn't have anything to do with everybody out there. It only has to do with the certain ones. And when I say certain ones, and I'm not going to say certain ones because I do know who a bunch of them are. The thing about it is that he wants you to understand that not every church is bad. And every person in their own church has to make that decision for themselves. Not John Doe Public. And they say, well, they're operating under a veil of 501c3 or 508c3. I think they ought to run under a 501c3, though. If they do, whenever that hits, they have a right to be audited at any time to show every avenue of everything they've ever spent. And that means every receipt, every dime will be accountable for. I know most everybody doesn't want to hear that out there, but you know what? I'm tired of you people jacking with my channel. And you think that you know who I am? You haven't got a clue. Now, the Father put me down here to set a bunch of things right. And look, I don't mind calling in the Calvary. I got legions of angels. Now, understand where you stand at with people. The thing about it is, what's a glorious mansion? What's the jet planes and all this stuff? The thing about it is, it's okay to live nice. It's okay to live in a manner that is, somewhat elegant. But, most of us out here, we don't live like that. We live like just regular people. But anyhow, I'm going to go on another tear. There's this lady that I got to apologize to. Patience. I apologize for being... Look, I run into so much AI and so many bots. It takes me a little while to figure them out, but usually I can figure out AI pretty quick, and I do. And I shut it down and report it. But whenever it sounds like that I'm being rude, I'm not. I apologize. And the same to anybody out there that I may have talked with. But I have a lot of people that I try to converse with, hundreds of thousands of people that I try to converse with. So when I put you on a friends list or message you back or anything, it's usually pretty short. Thank you very much. God bless. I'll get that new email deal they got out now to post all of it on there so I can post everybody's all at the same time. But by the time I'm scrolling through and posting and typing and everything, you know what? You got me pretty wore down. I'm spending the full day taking care of it. But listen, I was going to say to, the point of all this is falling to staves, okay? All of it's coming apart at the wheels. I read AI very well. They can say they got things that you can't tell. I can tell, and I always have been able to. The thing about it is that you have to understand that all these things that you're doing, you're committing to AI. It seems like, I think, what was it? Yeah, it was, a network out there, a large network, a Christian network, that, well, AI is the deal. AI is the deal. Yeah, it is the deal. It was for them, anyways. So understand that, I know every move that's going on with everybody out there. Just don't worry about it. The thing about being with the Father, staying with Him, an hour a day, just taking your time with Him, He'll enlighten you about what's going on around you, and you'll see it just as plain as day. Dr. Keenan, he is a good man. I've watched him quite some time. He does diligently and fairly about everything he's been doing. Even though he left me spun up for a while. But, that's part of the fun of the Father. He gives you a way to understand what's going on. But I thought I'd shoot this out there this afternoon. I haven't shot anything out earlier today, but I'll do better tomorrow. The thing is that you're the most wonderful children of God. The congregations have to take care of their own congregations, okay? Everybody out there can go bad this, bad this, bad this. I say bad this to the ones that are bad. But that's to the congregation to figure out. Like I said, if I had the pockets full of money that they had, and they just, just lavished out everything all the time, I could do a lot of good for the people here in the States. I know I understand what goes on overseas. I see it all. I own property in Israel. So, understanding that what they do and how it transitions. There's some that make ambulances, and the ambulance is expensive. It's somewhere around 150 cents, 160 grand, to put an ambulance together. And that's not even any stock. And building those concrete shelters, that's another deal. Housing over in Africa, in Brazil, which is not much, but it's got a tin roof. So, hey, that's all they care about as long as the rain don't get in. But understand what, people want to do and what people are doing. So if you got a chance to help somebody, just help them. Just help anybody you can. Love everybody you can. Be the best people you can. And I'm going to watch. And whenever the Father's got something to say, I'll say it. I don't have any qualm about it. As far as, I've had a pretty good experience over with YouTube, with TikTok, with Twitch, with a lot of Instagram. The thing about it is that, it's kind of like on my YouTube channel. They don't know where to put me because I'm not much of an explanatory guy because I don't. I put on there what I think at the time, just like this one. I'll post it under, what do you think about the church? Is the church first? The people last? Stuff like that. But they'll hang it up. And right now I've got a video still hung up from yesterday, still cycling, so they can stop my coming out with the next video, so they can analyze it. Well, they don't want somebody to personally analyze it. They want the AI or whatever's doing it, the algorithm. Well, I shoot everywhere. I go everywhere. That's the Father. That's not me. That has nothing to do with me. So I'm fixing to start going live on everything. Simpler. The thing about it is that there's no reason not to. They're going to really not like that. But anyhow, I'm just a poor, dumb country boy. But I will tell you that Dr. Keenan, he's a good man. He always has been. I watched him growing up. And he has got a point. So understand, all you people out there want to go out there and start throwing dirt clods at Christians. That's not a good thing to actually do. But anyhow, you want to send me a couple of $1 trillion? I won't turn it down. I will take and I will start building complexes you've never seen before. Chime, need money in between. Okay. Well, I'm glad Chime needs money between. But anyways, I would build complexes, organic food places. Like I said, I had an inkling on 10,000 acres up there in Kansas, because you can rotate a herd in Kansas on 10,000 acres and be fertilized at the same time planting your crops all at the same time. More or less, it's its own ecosystem. And clean food. Clean. I'm sure that everybody out there would like to have just good, clean food, honest food. Anyhow, I'll get off here. And hey, it's been great talking to you. But anyways, if you get a chance, listen to Dr. Keenan. He's a good man. Anyways, I'm a servant of the Most High. Y'all have a good one. Bye. Sorry, patience. Bye.